with hints, tips and tradie chat. Grab yourself a brew because it's about to start. This is Women in Trades with Amy the Sparky.
Before the show starts, I just quickly wanted to talk to you about Tradify. Tradify is a fast-growing job management platform for all busy tradespeople. It's great for managing all sorts of business admin such as quotes, tracking invoices, timesheets and appointments, leaving you more time to focus on other important things. Tradify have very kindly given me a discount code for my viewers, so check them out by clicking the link in my show description and using discount code AMY50 to get 50% off. Now, let's crack on with this show.
Hello and welcome to Women in Trades with Amy the Sparky. Today I have a special guest, Michaela Wain. You may recognise her from the 2017 series of The Apprentice, where she came second. Hello, Michaela.
Hello. Thanks for saying I came second.
Sorry. Yeah, I've been really excited to talk to you since, Hayley introduced me to you really from Cube Lighting. So yeah, first of all, can you just tell us a little bit about your background? How you got to what you're doing now?
I was on The Apprentice 2017. I didn't win that. I'd been in business for about 7 years before I went on to The Apprentice, actually. So I had a facilities management company, a utility connection company, and I mainly worked day to day on a marketing agency. Mm-hmm. And then off the back of The Apprentice, I got investment in the business I took to the show, which was like a lead generation platform. So a bit more techie as well as like actually in construction. But then since then, there has been a huge light shone upon issues within the industry and the lack of women. So I decided to use my platform for what we will say the greater good and try and help women already in the industry, retain women in construction, but also attract more women to construction as well.
Yeah, awesome. And so your company now, or you've got multiple companies now, construction companies?
Yeah.
Okay. And are you hands-on with all of them? Are you doing site visits and what is it?
It depends really where we're up to with it. So yeah, I will do site visits if it's really, really necessary, but I try and avoid them like the plague because we can be asked going to site. I just really don't like it. It's more the travel actually than being on site. It just feels like a big waste of time. I cram so much into my day that if a site visit's 2 hours away and then 2 hours back, that's 4 hours gone. Yeah. So if there's somebody else who I can send out to site, then I will send them out. However, there are times when I still have to be on site, but I mainly work day to day on a marketing agency, so that's obviously completely separate to site visits. There are one of my businesses that's just expanding and scaling, shall we say, the construction company, facilities management company. It's just got legs in another sector really, so that is taking more of my time and causing me the pain of being on site.
Yeah. Okay. So what sort of response do you get when you do go onto site?
I get ignored. Is the honest answer. And I get asked so much like, what's the most frustrating thing? And nobody's ever turned around to me and like, oh, get your tits out, or any of these things that you would typically expect, or when people say discrimination, that's their go-to kind of phrase. It is the fact that I'll turn up on site being the director of a multi-million-pound company, and I'll go with whoever, a QS, and all questions will be directed to him if he's male and not me. And that is worse than somebody being outright rude, I think, because then I've got to look like an idiot being like, hi, I'm the director. And I just, if I don't introduce myself as a director or as, whatever my position is, then I'm literally blanked, and it's as if I have no idea what's going on. Don't get me wrong, half the time I don't know what's going on, but I would still like to be acknowledged.
At least you're honest. That is frustrating. It's annoying. It's happened to me. I don't know whether I've spoke about this before, but it's little things really annoy me. I was in IKEA once with one of my friends, and I was wearing one of my hoodies that says Amy the Sparky on the back. And I was with a guy, and a guy came up to us in IKEA and I was in work clothes. I'd been at work, so I was in boots, trousers, everything. And he said to my friend, "Oh, have you got a business card?" And he said, "Oh, for what?" And he said, "Oh, I need an electrician. My mother-in-law's just buying a new bungalow and we need it rewiring." And my friend was like, "Well, she's the electrician. I'm wearing a jumper that says Amy the Sparky. She's the electrician." And he looked at me really surprised. I'm like, "What did you expect? Like, his name's obviously not Amy." And he was like, oh, have you got a business card? And I felt like going, "No, do I?" But I was like, "Yes, I have. Here you go." But yeah,
I think that's the worst thing, the presumption. Yeah, and the thing is just the presumption. And
yeah,
the way it stands at the moment is people not in the industry like that, I feel, can be forgiven more, in that the greater societal perception of the construction industry is men who are uneducated, in the 40s, you know, big brutes, needs to have big muscles to work in construction, or otherwise like slobs and lagerlights. And that is unfortunately what society thinks of the industry. Yeah. However, if you are in construction and you are going on to ignore women, that is where the bigger problem is, because you should have had more exposure to women. I understand there's only 1% of women on sites, but there are 13% of women in construction. Mm-hmm. So don't just presume that if you meet a woman, she's there to sell you something or to take notes. You know, like, understand that women can work in construction as well, but it's I think this is why podcasts like this and speaking about it and educating people is really important, and to understand that it isn't just being outright discriminatory, it's the ignorance as well, which is equally as frustrating.
That is frustrating. You saw the post I put on Instagram. Yeah, you commented on it. I think Hayley tagged you in it about when I had a chat with her about the toilet situation, and then I had that comment put on YouTube, and it really irritated me. So I screenshot and put it on Instagram. And I wasn't trying to slate this guy. I wanted just, you know, general opinions. I wanted to find out what other people thought about it. And I had some really interesting comments on there. I don't know if you had a chance to read through all of the comments.
I did read through quite a lot of them. Just remind me again, what exactly was it that he had said now about? What was your comment? Because I know he'd said about, you should use the same toilets, but what was your comment?
Yeah, so he'd put, "I'm totally supportive of women, but here's the problem. You want to have your cake and eat it. On one hand, you don't want to be treated differently by being helped over a fence," which was an example of something that Hayley said. "But on the other, you want your own toilets on site. I'm sorry, but you can't have it both ways." And I just put it on. I put, "Come on then, what's everyone's views on this? Are we out of order wanting our own toilet, or sometimes just a toilet at all?" Which is what I come across it all the time, where there's literally not even a toilet. "I've had to wee in a bucket on a site full of men numerous times." It's completely true. "What about when we're on our period? Would you think it was okay for your daughter or girlfriend to be weeing in a bucket? This would not be accepted in any other industry. I don't get it. Honest opinions welcome. We can take it." And it got a real mixed lot of opinions. So I wasn't even necessarily saying that we want our own toilet. You know, we want a women's own toilet. But to be fair, in the rest of the world, everywhere you go, there's...
I mean, do say it. I want my own toilet. In every other industry, pretty much every industry across the United Kingdom, the gender toilets are separated, and there is a reason that gender toilets are separated. It's for safety and it's for dignity, but it's for safety as well. So I mean, you know, all of this, what was that young woman, I feel really bad because I've forgotten her name, who was recently murdered, and then, you know, they did the vigil after a death, and everybody was saying, you know, like, all men this and all men that. And nobody is saying... Sarah Everard is, I feel really bad for forgetting, but it really got my back up, this whole situation where all men are saying, you know, like the nice men who aren't rapists and murderers, fair enough, are saying, "I'm not a rapist and murderer." Perfect. But somebody is, and unfortunately the men, so we are taught to be wary of them. You are taught, you would teach your children, your sisters, your aunties, your mothers, your grandmas, everybody is taught the same thing. Do not speak to a strange man that you don't know. If a man approaches you, you don't know, don't speak to him.
Yeah,
you are that strange man to somebody else's daughter. Just accept it. And there is a safety issue. And when it comes to toilets, there is a safety issue as well. No, I'm not saying that there would be anybody on site who would do anything, but there is the potential that something could happen in an environment like that. And women don't want to be in it. The reason I seem so passionate about toilets is not because I'm so passionate about toilets. It's because of the, do you know when, I don't know what the right terminology here is, so I really don't want to mess myself up, so let me get this right. But when men are transitioning and they've not quite transitioned to become female and they want to use female toilets, I am against it. And I know there's a lot of that particular community who would then say I'm an arsehole for that, but I'm a woman and I've been subject to things that they would never have been subject to. And so I believe that if you are not female, then you should not be in that toilet. And if you have not transitioned, then you should not be in that toilet, because unfortunately, men's bits and bobs can be a weapon, and it can be a weapon and it can destroy a woman's life. And I just don't think they should be mixing. I don't think they should be mixing in any kind of society. There should be female on the toilets. And, you know, we have different needs as well. You know, we need different facilities. Like you said, women have periods. It's just a fact. What you're supposed to do, like change your tampons in a bucket. I know it's not a sexy topic, but facts are facts.
This was my whole point. And I've had it on site. I actually had it yesterday. So at pure coincidence, although this a site I was on last week that didn't have a toilet had a portaloo delivered on Monday. I was back on the same site. The builder, who's lovely, I've not got a problem with, I don't think he's got a problem with me, made a jokey comment about that it was costing him £35 a week and I should pay for it. And I said, don't you think everyone else is using the toilet? He said, no, we all go in the garden. That's a lie. I've used that toilet twice and it is covered in wee after 2 days, 1 day, 2 days. This was Tuesday, so 2 days. And that wasn't me, the seat was up. So
but the thing is, though, and what men don't appreciate as well is then they would not go and sit on that toilet, and they have the luxury of not having to sit on the toilet. So, I mean, it's just it just seems like it's such a small thing. It's such a bizarre thing. And you're going to quibble over £35 to keep some of your workers satisfied. On site, like, and I know that the stat is that only 25% of sites across the board in the construction industry have female facilities, and there's certain companies who are like, we're making it a policy to have them on all sites. How is this a conversation? It's fucking toilet. How is it a conversation?
I don't understand.
How do you have a problem?
I don't understand that we even have to argue about it. I can't get my head around it.
It's a bizarre conversation to be having in the United Kingdom in 2021, to be honest. It
is absolutely mental, and it's one that does really drive me mad. And somebody commented on there saying, these sort of comments do me head in. He said, I wee in a bottle 3 times a day. It's just part of the job.
Just asking him last time he changed his tampons.
I messaged him back saying, do you understand that it's not that simple for a woman? Also, do you have monthly periods? And he never messaged me back.
It's just as if they've never had a conversation, like in sex education when you're 12, that women have different parts to men. That is what it's like. As if it's just not even the thing. It's bizarre that women even have to have this conversation and have to fight for the right to have dignity and safety in any work environment. I don't know why construction is seen as an exception to all rules and all legislation in all of our industries in the whole United Kingdom. It seems like small things, but it really drives me mad, because these are the things that make the industry so unattractive and so difficult for women. 100%. And if you're having to fight over a small thing like a toilet, then the same people are saying, oh, you all get equal pay in that. They won't even give us a toilet. You honestly think that at board level we're getting equal pay? We're not. It's not happening.
No. It's mad. And people, I think, men will look at this and be like, oh, they make such a big issue of it. But if somebody asked me the downsides of my job, I've only really got two, and that is the toilet situation and the winter, working outside when it's really cold. I don't deal with the cold well. I do it because it's part of my job, but the toilet thing shouldn't be part of my job. So that's why it is a big issue to me, because it's one of the only two downsides that I feel about my job. And you're right, it does make it unattractive for people thinking about coming in.
But in the grand scheme of things, for those contractors, how much money are they making on site? And they're going to moan about £35. And then they're actually going to say that you should be the one who pays for it. No, you are technically the employer on this site. Make sure that there's the appropriate facilities for everybody who comes to site. Yeah. So what if there was somebody with a disability who came onto site? I think you should have a disabled toilet as well. Yeah. You know, you should have a toilet that is easily accessible for everybody. What is wrong? Why can this industry not just be inclusive and accept it? Are you really trying to penny pinch to that extent? Like, come on.
It is madness.
But I've had a full rant there about a toilet. Wish we were expecting that.
We have had a mad rant, haven't we? We've sort of cleared it up. Everyone knows how we feel now. That's good. Are there any other things that you face as a woman, and especially in your position as, you know, director of company and stuff, that sort of really frustrate you, or any negative things that you think, oh God, this is, apart from obviously being ignored?
I'll be honest, since The Apprentice, it's been a game changer, because although I'm slightly more successful now than them, because businesses progress, but I was successful before The Apprentice, and I'd achieved an awful lot, and my businesses was all doing very well, and I'd achieved it all on my own from nothing. You know, as you can tell, I'm common as smoke, and I was brought up with literally nothing, and I'd achieved all of that, but it wasn't recognised as much till you're on TV, and then, you know, you become somebody, although I've completely not changed as a human being. So since then, things have got easier in that, because people may have seen me or be familiar with me or follow me on different social media things, then they already have this trust element or a respect or a inquisitive. So if I want to speak to somebody, a lot of the time I get the opportunity to speak to them. So since then, I'll be honest, there has been zero negative. Previous to The Apprentice, then people would always think I was a receptionist. It's just, again, it's the perceptions, it's the misunderstanding. Yeah. Or then if there was a dispute with somebody, again, I've not really had any disputes since The Apprentice, but before that, if there was a dispute, then I'd have men telling me, you listen to me, young lady. I'm like, you listen to me, old man. Like, who you talking to? Yeah. All right, you're an HR, there you are. And, you know, people have these attitudes and these terms as if it's really going to offend me. Like, no, I'm a young woman, yeah, I'm completely not offended by that. But those little bits of things used to grind my gears. And again, just the ignorance, the thinking I'm a receptionist, thinking I'm no one, can you put me onto your manager? When's your boss turning up? I'm just like, hello. It wasn't Michael, it was Michaela. But you know what? More than that, they are small things, but I would never get out of this industry for all of these little problems that are the flaws and you may face on a daily basis, and the frustrations. I do believe that all industries have their flaws and their frustrations, and you know, they'll definitely be in different ways. It's not going to be an issue with toilets, but there will always be something. But for me in construction, I've really been allowed to thrive. I've had many opportunities given to me. I've become successful to a level I never thought I could have ever dreamt of as a little girl. I never thought I'd be in the positions that I've been in. I didn't think I'd have met the people I've met. And all of my opportunities, at least 90% of them, have been given to me by men, and the contracts I've won have been awarded by men, and the connections I've got have been men, because it's predominantly men. So for all of the downsides of construction, there is a humongous upside. And if it was that terrible, I would not be in the industry. I think the issue, again, like I say, it's what other people think of the industry, and us being able to retain women. If there's more women in construction, I think these things like this and the edges and the site culture and these things would get tamed a little bit. If there was more women on the site, then the issues that we've got wouldn't be issues anymore, and at which point it would be an absolutely amazing industry to be in.
Yeah, definitely. How did you even get started in this industry? What made you start your first business is your background with your family? Are they in construction or?
But they are actually. So I've always been surrounded by it. So all of my stepdad's a joiner, my dad's a civil engineer, and two of my brothers are joiners now as well. My sister-in-law's a heating engineer who's a bit older than me, so she was a heating engineer while I was at school. And I did toy with the idea of being a heating engineer. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to be, but I went to university studying religion and special needs, so nothing to do with construction. And then it was on a year out from university. I wanted to be like a counsellor of some sort. I always wanted to help young women, which I guess it's ended up coming full circle, and now I am in somewhere. But I took a year out, and my dad basically said I could either take this job at Greg's Pasties. I don't know if you know him, but you have to wear awful blue hairnets. I was like, absolutely not. Or a construction. It was either that or 19 as well in Button Town Centre, or my mate's coming to. I'm like, no, thank you. I'll kick me out. No. So I ended up getting a job working at a construction magazine. I'd done well. Went working somewhere else. Thought there's no way I'm going to go back to university now because I was earning good money. Went working with somebody else. Hit a glass ceiling. And that they literally said to me, I turned the company around. It was doing 60 grand a year, and I made it £1 million a year turnover by recruiting people, training people, bringing in different sales things. And I was only young. I was 24, 25.
Wow.
And a sales manager position come up, and they said that obviously I should have got the job, like it was just set in stone. I was getting the job. And they said they wanted an older man for the job. And I don't think they realised at the time how bad that actually was. There was actually nice blokes, but they just had it in their head that a sales manager should be an older man. That's just what they wanted. They thought that's how they should look, and didn't see, obviously, all the qualities and evidence. So I pied them off, but left, started my own business. That did well. Invested in a utility connection company. That did well. Then started a construction company off the contacts that I had. That did well. And then obviously went on to the Apprentice. So in short, it was a complete accident, and I made some wise investments and made some bold moves at a young age, and I guess that's why I am.
You're obviously very motivated anyway, but that must have really given you some motivation and determination to succeed.
Yeah, no, I did. I had a point to prove. I had a bee in my bonnet when I started the business, and the new ideas that I wanted to implement that there wasn't up for doing, I brought in, and I formed my business as a full marketing agency. So rather than just doing the magazine, which is amazing, the largest online and hard copy magazine in the UK, we also do everything like social media, websites, PR, absolutely everything to do with marketing, and they just do the magazine. So all of this other stuff I was able to bring in and really scale and grow my company. So it all works out in the end. I'm a firm believer in you're exactly where you're meant to be, and so if they wouldn't have said that to me, I'd probably still be working for them, making them millions.
And definitely everything happens for a reason, doesn't it? I think with my first position, I've told you briefly about it. I spoke about it on Clubhouse that day. With my first, experience in my first position, it really, for a couple of days, so basically I was like bullied for like 9-10 weeks really badly, and for a couple of days it really got to me, and I honestly thought I was so close to quitting. I thought, I can't do this, what a waste of time and money training this, I can't do it. Is all those negatives that I thought about before I started were happening to me, and I was like, this is what it's like, and I don't want to go to work feeling like this every day and coming home upset and stuff. And for a couple of days I was so down about it. I thought about quitting, but then I don't know what it was. Something in my head just went, no, you're not going to let one man do this to you, like a company do this to you. And it literally, I think it's the best thing that happened to me. Like, although it was awful and I do wish it hadn't happened, it was the best thing, because it really made me determined to succeed. Because when you start thinking that other people are doubting you, you think, no.
Yeah, I mean, it really, it fuels your fire, definitely. And I know you shared your story with me previously, and it's just tragic. And the biggest tragedy is it's not uncommon either. But I mean, you've done the right thing. You've continued, and I think the women who are in construction at this point and who have been here for a period of time have all faced something on some level to some extent as well, and they're generally real like tough women. I've never met a woman who's been like meek and mild in construction ever. You know, they've all got something about them, and I think that all the women I meet have the potential to be hugely successful because you've had that experience, it's fueled your fire, you continued, and you're just going to continue to grow and be more successful, which is also why I believe that men already in this industry really should be looking to attract women and to get women within the companies, because I'm a firm believer in they will be the best workers they've got, because women have a point to prove that we're as good as men. So I think, you know, they're making a big mistake by not taking on the women, because they'll work harder than like just some dorsey sod who don't really want to be there, and his dad's mate got him a job there and he's basically being forced into it. If a woman's there, she wants to be there.
Exactly. And it was like college, and the point where we were leaving college, you know, a lot of the lads were on my course, because I did it full time, so I was doing like days. A lot of the lads on my course were there because they had to be there. They had to still be in education somewhere till they were 18, so they were there. Whereas I was there because I wanted to be there. I was paying for it, and I was, you know, squeezing it into my already busy life. But still, when it came to leaving, when we qualified, I struggled to find a job. And they easily just fell into jobs, even though I'd done better, I'd got better exam results. You know, I clearly wanted it. But yeah, I still struggled to find a job just because, you know, they're lads. I think they just walked into jobs.
And they know somebody. I think the thing is, well, it's like in all industries. I mean, the connections are invaluable in any business, and that's always going to be a thing. And a lot of the time, they will know somebody, like I said, the parents may have said to them, you have to go to college, you have to do this, and my mate Jeff will give you a job, And women don't have that luxury yet, just because there's not enough women already in the industry. We need to flood the construction industry from the top level to the lowest level, from admin and apprentices and site workers and tradeswomen and, you know, CEOs and company directors. There can't be, oh, how do we fix it? You know, employ some electricians of a female. It's got to come from everywhere, because women need the support from each angle.
Yeah, every sort of area needs to be diluted, doesn't it? It'll just get better all round, I think.
100%.
What advice would you give to young girls? I get quite a lot of young girls messaging through my Instagram from this podcast, really, just for advice and stuff. Or I think they just want reassurance that they're doing the right thing. You know, if they want to go into it, but they're a bit sort of scared. I call most of them now. I say, oh, let's have a chat, and I think. I don't know, I think they really like it. It makes me feel good. But what advice would you give to young girls that are thinking about getting into the trade?
Do it. My main advice is to do it. There is a lot of opportunities in construction. There's a lot of money in construction, and you can become very successful very fast. And on top of that, if you have a trade as well, then you're always going to be able to sort your own eyesight, and nobody's going to be coming in ripping you off. So it's £300 an hour, do one. So it's really, I think, true. Definitely do it, but I think just be prepared for the reality of the chances are you're gonna meet an idiot or two along the way, but do not let them stop you. Just understand that there are going to be hurdles. It will be different ones from in normal industries. There are idiots in many other industries as well. We may just more frequently find them in construction, and do not position yourself as a victim. If it happens and you do meet a hurdle, you're feeling discriminated against, do not make yourself a victim to that situation. Do not allow that to be about your gender. Make that about that individual. If somebody, from the experience that you had, Amy, is going to bully you to that extent, then there is fundamentally something wrong with their mental health, because that is not normal. Definitely. So just always know that when these things happen, it's not about you are not a victim, it's about that individual. And if your voice is not being heard within the company that you're at, there are many I think there's 300,000 construction companies there or thereabouts within the UK. There are many other construction companies that you can take them skills to who would welcome you with open arms. So do not give up at the first hurdle. Prepare yourself. This may happen. It may well not, and I really hope it doesn't. And the industry is getting better. But if you prepare for the worst, then you know you're always going to be ready for it.
That's great advice. Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been brilliant talking to you. Quickly, I forgot to ask you. Sorry, can you just give us a quick sort of rundown of what you're doing with Hayley Roberts. With
yes. So there's a federation called the National Federation of Builders. I'm the Women in Construction ambassador, or I'm the ambassador for Women in Construction with them. We've teamed up with them and produced a roadmap, and we held a round table with influencers, directors of large construction companies, SME businesses, educational bodies within the construction industry. We've built out a roadmap with the plan to get 25% of women in construction by 2026. We're taking it to government level in a couple of weeks to get it passed. We're getting an accreditation for diversity and inclusion, so that your tenders will be weighted if you have a bronze, silver, gold. That isn't all boxed off and cleared out yet, but it's something along those lines. And we are hoping that government will either put something in legislation or at least have sanctions on the public sector procurement process if you do not have this accreditation. I know that was a lot of long words. If I really understand it, they're clear in my head, but basically I'm trying to get 25% of women in construction. I'm really doing my best. And I wrote to the government, we're starting a petition as well. I'm just waiting for it to be cleared. So when I do, Amy, if I can send it to you and you share it with your audience as well, we need 100,000 signatures for them to discuss it in Parliament. So that's what I'm going for.
That's amazing. The work that you and Hayley are doing is honestly amazing. And as someone who works, on site, so on the tools every day, I really appreciate what you're doing. I know it's a lot of hard work, it takes up a lot of time, but you have meetings, don't you? You have, I don't know what you call them, rooms on Clubhouse. So every Friday, or most Fridays, every Friday.
Yeah, every Friday. We are having 1 week off in a couple of weeks, but every Friday, 1 until 2:30, we do it. It's a room on Clubhouse. It's an audio app, so everybody's welcome to interact, ask questions. The way that it is structured is we do a bit of an intro, a catch up on, the progress that people have made over the last week. We'll have a special guest. You was on it 1 week, and we've got some amazing guests coming up. The CEO of City and Guilds, the head of the NFB. So some huge names in construction are coming on it as a special guest, question and answers with them. And at the end of it, what we're starting to do from this week is 20 minutes networking as well. So if there's a specific connection you're looking for in construction, you say, I want to speak to the director of Galliford Try. If anybody knows them, they'll pass on your information as well.
Amazing. So try and get involved. If you've got the app Clubhouse, jump on. I love that. I only managed to get on sort of 1 and a bit rooms with you, but it was I learned a lot just listening to other people, like their experiences, what areas they're working in, and also it just felt really, I got a lot of support from it. I was only that one day that I came on, it just made me feel like better that there are people, lots of men out there that support us and that are really working hard to try and improve.
Do you know what? They're working really hard as well, Amy. Like the people who come to this Clubhouse room, they're not messing. Like we have the director of Multiplex on there. It's a global construction company, and he has enforced sanctions on his business to get it to 46% in the next 3 years. That's far more than what we're asking for, and he is serious. Like he's not messing about. He's like, I want this, because he understands the bottom line profits increase with a diverse workforce. It's factual, it's proven, it's evidential, it's all over in every other industry, and he understands that. But more than that, he believes that women should be given equal opportunities to men. And it's not just him. The director of Galliford Tries on there, the chairman of the NFB, the chairman of the Chartered Institute of Civil Engineers. We're talking like massive corporations. They come into our room and they just chill and they see what women are saying, and then they take from that and try and improve their company from the feedback that just normal working class hard working women have to say about the industry, because it's conversations they would never have, not even with the staffs. They're too high up, so they would never be open to the, I mean, they may well be open to them, but they would never really have these kind of intimate conversations as what they have in that room. So it's a really important room, and something I'm passionate about, so hopefully it'll continue to grow as well.
I'll try and jump in. It's really hard when you're on site, but I think that's, I'd love for the other tradie girls that I talk to get on, but it is difficult when you're on site. I do feel like, because now I attended that first one, I do feel like I'm missing out on Fridays. I'm like, oh, I really want to jump in, but yeah, it's really positive. I came away feeling really positive about the future, and things are changing, and are going to change for the better. So yeah, it's amazing.
Good, amazing. Yeah, I love that, and that's ultimately what it's about. So yeah, it's great to hear. Yeah,
wicked. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And what Michaela Wain, isn't it? Wain. Follow Michaela on Instagram. Will you be putting updates on Instagram for your with this accreditation?
Yeah, with the roadmaps and the petition, I'll be doing all the swipe ups and that. But it's actually Michaela Wain 1, because there's a Michaela Wain who's a supermodel in Australia and now in there. So
there is.
I'm not her.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, what a killer as well. She's absolutely stunning.
Michaela Wain 1 then for updates on how it's all going.
Yeah, perfect.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you. And hopefully I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
That was Women in Trades with Amy the Sparky. Never miss an episode by subscribing now. Just hit the subscribe button and turn your notifications on.